I have a stack of pot holders that I never use. I want to use them, but I'm definitely more of an oven mitt kind of a person when I cook. I often will take these and stick them in the fridge when I want to put away an entire pot full of something. But when I'm using them, oftentimes I try to put the pot or pan into the fridge on top of them, and then they move. And then I have to rearrange things. And so I've decided I'm going to take my pot holders and I'm going to sew them together into something larger. And it's going to be much more useful to me as one solid piece rather than individual pieces that move around easily. So I think I like the arrangement of these. They look pretty interesting. My first goal is to connect them all together with some fabric. I have some leftover cotton fabric from a different project, and I basically want to use it to line in between all of the seams. And then, of course, once I go the short way, I'm going to make one very long piece down the center of each one. I've played around with this for a little bit now, and I found something that seems to really work for assembling these trivets that I'm going to make. So if I flip this over, I found that if I use thread to do a whip stitch, where I insert through one, go through to the other, and then out the top again, I end up being able to secure these quite nicely. So that whip stitch is basically just going around in a spiral until you reach the end. And then the next part is taking strips of fabric and sandwiching on either side of your piece, folding in those ends, and then just kind of sewing back and forth through all the layers. As you can see, I did it on the bottom here too. So I started by going across, and then I will take another strip and I will go all the way down the center. And then I am thinking that I will take more fabric and I will go all the way around the edges just to finish it off. The one thing I have to decide is, do I want to cut off the little loops or not? I'm thinking I might want to leave one way on the end, like this one here, just so that I can hang it up if I want to. I'm glad I was able to find scrap fabric in two different colors so that they looked a little bit different. As you can see, I have the tops all on the same side. And then if you flip one of them over, you can see that the bottoms are all different colors. So that's the side that would be down on your surface. And I decided to grab a 9 by 13 pan just so that you can see how it looks while sitting on top. I think in general, they're a nice size for a pan like this, or if you have like a casserole dish that's a little bit bigger, that could sit on top of it as well. Now, one thing I want to say is the fabric is 100% cotton because I don't want it to melt with something hot sitting on top of it, especially if it's something that you took straight off of the stove or straight out of the oven. We just don't want things to end up melting. As you can sort of see, this one right here, the fabric is actually not cotton, and so it was affected by heat. I touched something with it, and that is one of the reasons why it's on the bottom. All of these sides should be cotton on top, and they should be a bit more resistant to being burned or melted. Now, something else that I did that I'm really glad I did is on each one I left a couple of loops out. All the rest of the loops are hidden by the fabric, but I left a couple of loops out just in case I want to hang it up for whatever reason. That way it's able to not just be folded up in a cupboard, but it can hang somewhere. And I did end up leaving all of the loops on every single pot holder because if for some reason this needs to be taken apart in the future, I wanted to have the option of being able to hang it up as needed. I hope this gave you some ideas of what you could do with your pot holders. I'm sure that if you wanted to make something a little bit smaller, or if you just wanted to make a row, you could do that as well, and it would come out just as cute. Of course, if you wanted to, on the backs of these, you could just do 100% cotton to cover the whole thing and make it look uniform. But I kind of like the mismatched colors. It kind of gives it a antique feel.